Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB games scheduled for Sunday, August 7th, 2022. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Now, if you're looking for my MLB best bets, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Of course, I'm always running my $15 MLB best bet, so check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Sunday, August 7th. First up, we see the Houston Astros taking on the Cleveland Guardians. We're going to see Christian Javier and Tristan McKenzie on the mound for this contest. You look at both of these starters, it kind of had similar pros and cons this season. Christian Javier, 128 strikeouts and 94 innings pitched this season. However, he has given up at least one home run in 4 of his last 5 starts and 12 home runs on the season. So the home run ball has been his kryptonite this year, but still 3.24 ERA on the year. Really strong season for Javier thus far. On the other side, Tristan McKenzie having a really good year. The young starting pitcher from Cleveland, 3.38 ERA, 113 strikeouts and 120 innings. So not as good of a K rate, but still not too shabby. The home run balls also hurt McKenzie. 18 home runs allowed this year, and at least one in his last 2 starts. That does concern me when you're facing a really powerful Houston Astros lineup against right-handed pitching. I do think I'm going to give the edge to the Astros in this spot. They've been playing well in this series. Christian Javier, I do believe, is the better starting pitcher, and I like the fact that he can go ahead and get those strikeouts. I also trust this Astros bullpen a lot more, so I'm going to take the Houston Astros here. Not my favorite game on the board, but I'm going to take them on the money line for this one. Next up, we see the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Bryce Wilson and Spencer Watkins are your projected starters. Now, I'd love to take the underdog in this role, but the Orioles play really well at home, and I do think they have the clear advantage in the starting pitching matchup. Now, Bryce Wilson had a pretty good couple of starts against the Rockies and the Cubs, but then he struggled quite a bit in his last outing. 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs. They were 3 home runs by the Milwaukee Brewers, and yet again, he only had 2 strikeouts. The strikeout numbers just haven't been there for Wilson. Only 42 in 61 innings, giving up 11 home runs in that stretch, and I just don't trust him here against an Orioles lineup that's hitting right-handed pitching very, very well. Number 6 in the league in team OPS against righties in the last 30 days. They don't strike out a lot as a team. They're actually the lowest team strikeout rate in the last 30 days against righties, 17.8%. So you got Wilson, a guy that doesn't earn a lot of strikeouts to begin with. This Orioles team is going to be putting the ball in play almost every single at-bat against him, and that's where I worry the most. He's got an ERA above 6. You know, Spencer Watkins is not my favorite option on the mound. I do think there is a little regression to worry about in his game, but I think he's good enough here coming off a really good start against the Texas Rangers. Give me the Orioles here on the money line. Next up, we see the Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies with Corey Abbott and Aaron Nola as your projected starters. Now, Corey Abbott's had some success on the mound to start his 2022 season, but there is a reason why the Phillies are huge favorites in this spot, and that's because this is a pretty lopsided pitching matchup. I do think Abbott is going to regress as the season continues. I think Aaron Nola is the far better option here on the mound. I think the Phillies are the far better team, but there's not a lot of value in this game. Right now, the money line minus 285, so that means the run line is going to be negative odds by quite a bit as well. Just not a lot of value, but I am going to lean towards the Phillies on the run line just because I think statistically they're going to win this game by a pretty good margin. You look at Aaron Nola last time out, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, a really good bounce back start for him. Washington Nationals offense I can't trust, even though here and there we've seen some solid offensive performances. I don't like him in this spot against Nola, so give me the Philadelphia Phillies here on the run line. Next up, we see the Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Detroit Tigers. We're going to see Matt Manning going for the Tigers. No official starter listed for the Rays, so there's no official lineup for this game quite yet. But I do believe the Rays will probably go with a bullpen game here. We've seen that plenty of times this season with Kevin Cash. And Matt Manning on the other side, although he's got an ERA at 3.46, I do worry about him in this spot. He struggled quite a bit in his last outing against the Minnesota Twins. He went 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, 4 walks, a home run, 3 earned runs, only 1 strikeout. Now, that wasn't a Detroit Tigers win, and the Twins really didn't make him pay as much as they could have. But this Tampa Bay Rays lineup is starting to heat up a little bit, especially as they get some guys back in the lineup due to injury that were missing, Brandon Lau included. He's been hitting a really hot bat lately, so I think Manning is in trouble here. I think the Rays pitching staff can control this Tigers lineup. I like the Tampa Bay Rays here on the money line. Next up, we see the Kansas City Royals taking on the Boston Red Sox. Cutter Crawford and Brad Keller are your projected starters. Now, similar to what I said about Nathan Eovaldi for Saturday's video, I think Brad Keller is another really inconsistent starting pitcher this season. If you look at the beginning of the year, he had a really strong start to the season. Then he had to start a stretch where you just couldn't back him. And he started to sharpen up a little bit, but now we're seeing the old Brad Keller where he's given up at least 3 earned runs in 4 of his last 5 and 4 earned runs in 3 of his last 5, including his last start against the White Sox, where he went 5 2/3 innings, giving up 13 base hits, 8 earned runs, a home run in that one, in a 9-2 Royals loss. The Royals have lost each of the last 3 games that Keller has started in, and all 3 of those games by more than 2 runs, at least 4 runs, actually. So I do worry about Keller in this spot, and I think Cutter Crawford has sharpened up a bit. You know, he's got a 3.86 ERA overall this year. That's exactly what the Red Sox would want from him. Even better numbers on the road this season. He's able to strike out some batters, 56 Ks and 53.2 innings. And you look at his numbers against the Houston Astros last time out, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk allowed, no home runs in a 2-1 Red Sox win. Crawford's pitching well. Give me the Red Sox here on the money line. Next up, we see the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Corbin Burns going for the Brewers. No official starter for the Reds quite yet. It was projected to be Hunter Green, but he was just placed on the 15-day IL just about an hour ago, so he will not be able to pitch in this start. We'll have to see who the Reds decide to go with. The Brewers are huge favorites because of that scratch and with Burns being on the mound, and I don't trust the Reds' offense here, and if the Reds have to go with a bullpen game, I think it's one of the weaker bullpens in baseball, so to me, this game could get ugly. I think this is a really good opportunity for Burns to have a bounce-back start after a few not-so-great outings against the Pirates and Twins, giving up a couple home runs, some earned runs in that one. But we know he's still got really good strikeout stuff against this Reds lineup. I think that benefits him. Their top 5 highest strikeout rate against right-handed pitching in the last 30 days, 25.4%. I think Burns pitches well. I think the Brewers' bats are going to have a field day here. Give me the Brewers here on the run line. I like 2.5 runs in this one. Next up, we see the Minnesota Twins taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman and Chris Archer are your projected starters. Kevin Gausman's got a 2.02 ERA on the road this year, 69 road strikeouts, and 58 innings pitched. And he's coming off another stellar outing on the road against the Rays, where he went 8 innings, 10 strikeouts, only 1 hit, 1 walk, and no earned runs. I think Gausman's going to have another good outing here. I think his offense is going to back him up even more than they did in that 3-1 win against Tampa. I think this Blue Jays lineup against Chris Archer could be dangerous. You look at Archer, in the last 4 starts he's had, the Twins have lost all 4 of those games by more than 2 runs apiece. Now, some of that was Archer's fault, some of it wasn't, but he has still given up 12 earned runs in each of his last 12 earned runs in his last 3 outings combined, not in each of his last 3 outings. But Chris Archer, 4.04 ERA now, is below 4 for quite some time, but starting to regress. He has even worse numbers at home this year. Not a guy that's going to get a lot of strikeouts. He's had some issues with the walks as well, and the Blue Jays numbers against righties in the last month, really, really strong. Number 2 in team OPS, and up there in isolated power as well. Give me the Blue Jays here with Gausman on the mound on the money line. Next up, we see the New York Yankees taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Frankie Montas making his Yankees debut, going up against the veteran Adam Wainwright. Now, Wainwright loves pitching at Busch Stadium. 1.79 ERA at home this year, coming off another 7-inning shutout performance against the Cubs last time out in a 6-0 Cardinals win. But I do think this is going to be a tough matchup for Wainwright here. You look at the numbers for the Yankees in the last 30 days against righties. Number 3 in team OPS, number 3 in isolated power, and number 1 in WRC plus with a 135 WRC plus against righties. That's an 896 plate appearances, so a really large sample size there. I do worry about Wainwright. You know, he doesn't earn a lot of strikeouts, has had some issues with the home run ball here and there this season, and the walks are also a little bit up from what we're used to seeing. I think the Yankees can get to him for a few runs here. I don't think it's going to be an ugly start for him, but on the other side, Frankie Montas, pretty consistent starting pitcher this year. I thought it was a very necessary pickup for the Yankees to either get him or Luis Castillo, and the price for Montas was a lot cheaper. So I do think that Montas has a solid outing here. I think the Yankees are going to win this game, and if this game is close late, even though on the first game of the series we saw the Cardinals pull out a late win, I still trust this Yankees bullpen a lot more. Give me the Yankees here on the money line. Next up, we see the Miami Marlins taking on the Chicago Cubs. Jesus Luzardo and Adrian Sampson are your starters for this contest, and I think the wrong team is favored here. I like the plus money here with the Miami Marlins on the money line. Jesus Luzardo pitching really well in his first start back from the injured list. He went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, and 5 strikeouts against the Reds now. His offense didn't back him up, and we've seen that be an issue for Miami lately. Their offense really hasn't done much, but against Adrian Sampson, I think there is some regression in this game to worry about. And the Chicago Cubs bullpen, especially with the moves that they made at the trade deadline, getting rid of most of their top relievers, I think it's the weakest. I think that them and the Reds right now are the top two worst bullpens in baseball. So if this game is close late, I think the Marlins can find a few runs. Even though this offense hasn't been great, I still think they can find a few runs on the Cubs relievers, and I think they win this game late. So give me the Miami Marlins here. I like Luzardo in this matchup. Give me the Marlins on the money line. Next up, we see Lucas Giolito and the Chicago White Sox taking on Spencer Howard and the Texas Rangers. Now, Lucas Giolito's had a very disappointing season. There's no doubt about that. An ERA above 5 in the beginning of August is not what you want to see from your supposed ace. However, I do think he is a little bit better than his ERA suggests. And it also was a promising start for him last time out against the Royals. 5 innings, only 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and a nice 9-2 White Sox win. You look at Giolito, a 3.75 xFIP, not bad at all. And I do trust him a lot more than Spencer Howard and this Rangers bullpen. I mean, Spencer Howard's got an ERA above 6.5, so he's certainly not pitching better than Giolito this season. He gave up 6 earned runs and a homer last time out against the Orioles, and I can't trust Howard in this spot. So give me the Chicago White Sox here on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Oakland A's hosting the San Francisco Giants with Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. No official starter for the A's right now. Logan Webb has not had a really good string of starts against the Dodgers and Diamondbacks. You look at his last 2 outings, 11 in the third innings combined, 15 hits, 10 earned runs, 2 homers, and only 7 strikeouts. Now, he's not really known to be a strikeout guy, more of a pitch to contact, keep the ball on the ground guy. But when you're giving up at least 1 homer in 3 of your last 4 outings, you're not keeping the ball on the ground anymore, and you become really susceptible to getting hit pretty hard. And that's why we've seen his ERA shoot up now to over 3. It was below 3 for quite some time now, 3.2. And, you know, Oakland A's offense, not great. We know that against righties, against lefties, really hasn't been very good this year, but it is improving. I mean, again, in the last 30 days, they are in the top 20 in WRC plus against righties. So that's, you know, an improvement. They were near the bottom in the basement. They're 18th in team OPS against righties, which is still not great, but not nearly as bad as the Giants against righties. You look at San Francisco, 28th in team OPS against right-handed pitching. Isolated power, not any better, 28th as well. So, you know, the Oakland A's have been playing better ball in the last, I would say, 2 weeks. And Logan Webb, with his struggles, I just can't trust him here on the road. Give me the Oakland Athletics plus the 1.5 here as the home dog. Next up, we see the Los Angeles Angels taking on the Seattle Mariners. Tucker Davidson and Marco Gonzalez, a pair of lefties going at it in this one. Now, Tucker Davidson has struggled in the starting pitcher role this year, a 6.46 ERA overall. He's going to be making his Angels debut. A 1.83 whip concerns me quite a bit. When you look at the Mariners in the last 30 days, number 7 in team OPS against lefties. Now, I know they didn't do much against Patrick Sandoval in the beginning of this series, and he was a left-handed pitcher, but I still think against Davidson, this is even a better matchup for Seattle. So I do like the Mariners' offense here, and especially because Davidson's not going to go too deep in this game. Probably about 5 innings at the most. He's more of an early reliever. Sometimes he can be a starting pitcher, but doesn't go too deep into games. I think the Angels' bullpen struggles as well. On the other side, you look at Marco Gonzalez. He's not my favorite starting pitcher to back. That is for sure. However, we consistently see the Angels struggle against left-handed pitching. Robbie Ray gave up only 1 run in that outing at the beginning of the series, and the Angels 562 team OPS against lefties in the last month. That's 29th in baseball. They're 23rd in isolated power, not much better. One of the highest strikeout rates against lefties this season as well. Give me the Seattle Mariners here on the run line. In our next matchup, we see the Colorado Rockies taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks with Jose Urena and Zach Davies as the starting pitchers. Now, Zach Davies made his return from the injured list with his start on August 1st against the Guardians. It was not a good start. 2 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned, 2 home runs, 2 walks. So he was only able to get through 2 innings pitched, and I do worry about Davies in this spot. You guys know I love to fade the Rockies when they're facing a right-handed pitcher away from home. But I can admit, when numbers change, and it has definitely changed as of late, in the last 30 days on the road, the team OPS for the Rockies against righties is 14th in baseball. So about average, but a lot better than at the beginning of the year when they were near the bottom, if not dead last in the league. So a 704 team OPS against righties on the road, good enough for me to like the Rockies matchup here offensively. On the other side, you look at Jose Urena, somebody that I'm also looking to fade quite a bit this year. The D-backs numbers against righties at home, really solid offensively. Urena last time out only went 4 innings, giving up 2 earned runs and 3 walks against the Padres. It wasn't the worst start he's ever had, but we've also seen him give up 12 earned runs in an 8 1/3 inning stretch against the Dodgers and Brewers back on July 23rd and 28th. I don't trust Urania here. I don't really trust Davies, and I certainly don't trust either of these bullpens. Give me the over in this Rockies D-backs matchup. In our next matchup, we see one of the best games on the board, probably one of the best games you're going to see all season, at least on paper, the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. And wow, we have a great pitching matchup here. Spencer Strider and Jacob deGrom. You've got one of the most exciting young pitchers in baseball, 133 strikeouts and 87 innings this year. He's got to be up there, probably the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. 2.79 ERA this season, coming off a 6 2/3 start against the Phillies. 1 earned run, 13 strikeouts in a 13-1 Braves win. But on the other side, Jacob deGrom, we know Jacob deGrom, one of the best starters, I believe the best starter in the last decade in baseball when he stays healthy. He was injured at the beginning of the season. He made his first start back against the Nationals, 5 innings, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, pretty solid outing. We'll see Jacob deGrom get more and more innings as he continues to get back into the swing of things. But, you know, this is a great pitching matchup. I like the under in this game just because I really can't pick a side. You know, it's tough to pick a side in this matchup. 2 really good starting pitchers, 2 lineups that are very good as well, and 2 strong bullpens. This is as even as a game can get. You know, I do think the Braves have the slightly better bullpen, and because deGrom's not going to go too deep in this game, I would give the edge to Atlanta on the money line just slightly, but it's really tough to pass up a minus 130 price with Jacob deGrom. We know we're not going to see that very often the rest of the year, so kind of contradicting with the side, but I'm going to take the under here and really stay away from this game altogether and betting-wise and just watch what could be one of the more entertaining games this season. So give me the under in this Braves-Mets matchup. In our final game of the night, we see your Sunday Night Baseball contest between the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Yu Darvish and Tyler Anderson are your starters. Now, we saw Yu Darvish give up 2 home runs last time out to the Rockies. He's given up 3 homers in 12 innings against this Dodgers lineup already this year. I do worry about the long ball issue with Darvish in this spot. You look at the Dodgers, their numbers against right-handed pitching have been great from the beginning of the season to now. Top 5 in team OPS, isolated power, WRC plus in the last 30 days and overall this year. I think the Dodgers can get to Darvish in this spot, but on the other side, I do think the Padres will also score some runs on Tyler Anderson. We see a high total in this game. Dodger Stadium, believe it or not, is more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark, and this total's set at 9. The books know that both of these offenses are really good on paper, but they also benefit against these starting pitchers. The Padres are improving their numbers against left-handed pitching in the last 30 days. About 2 months ago, they were near the bottom in most important hitting metrics, but now they're improving their game. Team OPS, isolated power, and WRC plus rising, and I think with Soto, Drury, and Bell in the lineup, it's only going to get better. So I do worry about Anderson here. He gave up 5 earned runs and a homer in his last start against the Giants. I think we could see a slugfest in this one on Sunday Night Baseball. I know Sunday Night Baseball has trended to the under pretty well this year. We've also seen a few slugfests. We saw that Yankees-Red Sox matchup. I think we're going to see a similar result here. Give me the over in this Padres-Dodgers matchup to end the night. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday, August 7th. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. And don't forget, you can use the code AUG15, that's AUG15, to save 15% at checkout. Alrighty, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.